Now, look, we've got to talk about MSNBC once again becoming increasingly desperate. I showed some of this in Lefties Losing It, but it's worth showing again. Here are hosts Nicole Wallace and Joy Reid comparing Trump's immigration policies to the Holocaust and Hitler's Germany.
They're going to have to own the idea that they have created a generation of kids who may have been born here but who are afraid to go to school, families that are in hiding on this harrowing anniversary of Holocaust anniversary does have a really eerie echo to something that I think people thought, how could that happen? And that could never happen again.
Defeating the Jews of Europe, who they viewed as subhuman, was a question of good conquering evil, which conditioned millions of Germans to celebrate Hitler and turn a blind eye to his brutality. If that sounds vaguely familiar, that's because it is. Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable.
Ami, how have these people not been fired yet to minimise the Holocaust in favour of their hate for Trump? Surely that's a new low.
I mean, you want to know why the legacy media in the U.S. is dying out? That's example number one. I mean, the fear porn they've been peddling is disgusting. Particularly disgusting is Joy Reid. Talking about the Holocaust, I want to give you some of her hits when it comes to Jews in Israel. Joy Reid is a woman that said Israel's to blame for October 7th. Their policies is what led to October 7th. Joy Reid is a person who said that Wolf Blitzer in CNN was being too soft on Jews. Joy Reid is a woman who questioned the legitimacy of the state of Israel. Really, Joy Reid? I don't think so. Don't, as a Jew, okay, don't peddle the Holocaust to give yourself cover on policies that you don't like. It's disgusting. And by the way, I'm not exactly sure where was she talking about Obama? Also, at this point, Obama deported more people than any president in the history of the United States. Okay, leave me alone. Enough of this. It's gross.
Oh, it is gross. I completely agree. She's unhinged. She's lost the plot. And I just am shocked that she is still on air. Now, Donald Trump says he will be signing an executive order to send the worst of the United States illegals to Guantanamo Bay in a 30,000-bed facility. This is what he said.
Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back.
Ami, is this fair enough, particularly given some of these illegals are murderers and rapists?
Absolutely. Love it. In fact, I think we should charge their country of origin for the cost of keeping them in Guantanamo Bay. Okay? Again, explain the problem here for this thing. Okay? We're going to be deporting the worst of the worst. We can't obviously trust the country that they came from because the country they came from didn't want to take them back. Look at Colombia. We had to actually twist their arm with tariffs in order to take them back. So, yeah, I'm down with it. Look, this is the people that Selena Gomez is crying over, right? By the way, we know that was real because that wooden actress can't emote on camera on cue. So we know that she's doing it for real. And by the way, also, the Cuban president said this was inhuman, intolerable, barbaric behavior. How do you say irony in Spanish?
Yeah, really, really good point. The irony in that coming from Cuba is astonishing. But no, look, you're right. Good. Banish them over to Guantanamo Bay because that is certainly where they belong. Now, it didn't take long for the confirmation hearing of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump's nominee for Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services, to absolutely descend into chaos because Senate Democrats, true to form, went on unhinged rants. But I've got to say, this one takes the cake. Here is Bernie Sanders talking about onesies.
They are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies. One of them is titled Unvaxxed, Unafraid. You're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Are you supportive of this?
I've had nothing to do with leadership.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing?
And just look at the face of Megyn Kelly, a good friend of this network. It tells you all you need to know.
I've had nothing to do with
Are you
leadership.
supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly anti-vaccine?
I mean, Ami, onesies? Are these Democrats serious?
I mean, look, the most outrageous part of that is they're charging $26 for those things. Look, let's be clear. Okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Robert Kennedy. I don't think he was the right choice for this job. I think he has made particularly questionable statements in the past and taken questionable positions in the past across the board. By the way, hard right, hard left. He seems to have U-turned on most of these things in order to get this nomination. Look, I'm all for rigorous questioning of Robert Kennedy. I think that's legitimate. I think that we have moved from honest questions into stupid behavior and grandstanding on the side of Democrats. That's really nothing new, to be honest, on both sides. But look, I think this is the role of the Senate to ask tough questions of a guy who's made very questionable claims in the past. I'm okay with that. But when we start putting up, grandstanding with the onesies, I think we've gone a little too much. I think Megyn Kelly had it right there with her facial expression.
Yeah, she did. I mean, it just descended into a farce as soon as they brought up the onesie photos, and then you just can't take it seriously anymore. That's the problem with these hearings. Now, Army security agents have escorted the Inspector General of the US Department of Agriculture out of her office after she refused to comply with her firing by the Trump administration. Phyllis Fong reportedly told colleagues that she intended to stay after the White House terminated her, saying that she didn't believe the administration had followed proper protocols. Army, look, these lefties, they can try as hard as they can, but why bother going up against Trump orders?
Yeah, first of all, hey, IG, it's not your place to interpret the protocols and the legality of your firing, right? And that's the problem I think we have the IGs in general. I think they were they had a world onto themselves. They felt they were disconnected from the law. They could do whatever they wanted. And that was the problem that Trump had from the beginning. Look, there was a 2022 law that was passed, and we've been talking about a lot, that strengthened the role of the IG and how they're let go, how they're rehired. And the truth is that he probably has not run afoul of this 2022 law because most of it was probably actually unconstitutional. That it is actually within the power of the president to fire these IGs. I think where he's going to have a problem where the 2022 law, I think will stand any legal and Supreme Court scrutiny, is that you really have to have independency when it comes to who the inspector generals are, the federal inspector generals. And I think that he won't be able to put in any lackey that he wants, that it's going to have to go through rigorous approval. I think that's great. I think that's fair. But his ability to fire the inspector generals is within his purview, completely legal. And I think that when you have all the media, it goes back to the media, talking about how this goes against the law is simply untrue.
No, I agree. Now, look, Meta has agreed to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit filed by Donald Trump against the company after it suspended his accounts following that January 6 attack on the Capitol. It's the latest instance of large corporations settling litigation with the president. Meta has come around to Trump. We know its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, met him. He was at the inauguration. I wonder if he regrets suspending his account now.
Oh my God. I love this so much. I love seeing these technological leftist titans bending the knee and kissing the ring of Donald Trump because they know that for the next 4 years, they are going to be scrutinized. They're trying to get ahead of it. It is so delicious to see. Look, you saw ABC had to settle a lawsuit also when they called him a rapist, and they settled that money was going to his presidential library. I think it's great. I think it's ironic. I think it's phenomenal. Yeah, you're seeing all of these tech titans who were very supportive of Biden and Kamala and the left now turn around and say, I think we got it wrong. I think we better settle our accounts now to make sure we're good with President Trump. It's great. I love it.
I love it too. You're right. They're all bending down to kiss the ring now after years of talking up against Trump, suspending his accounts. And now, look, suddenly, if you're not in the Trump crowd, it's better to be in than out. That's how I look at it. Now, Ami, we've got to say, we have been loving your posts on X because for 10 days, every day, as we can see here, you've been posting the Trump presidency and democracy has not ended every single day. Well, Ami, firstly, who would have thought? And secondly, how long do you reckon you're going to keep going with that?
Oh, nothing gets by you guys at Sky News Australia, huh? You picked up on that. Listen, I'm a commit to the bit kind of guy. I'm going to be doing it for all 4 years of this presidency. I am so sick and tired of everyone telling me democracy has ended. I'm waiting for it. I will stop the tweets. No, I promise you now. I will stop the tweets when democracy in the U.S. has ended. How's that?
All right, well, we're going to hold you to that, and we expect to see every single day, Ami, for the next 4 years. We're going to be looking at your tweets to make sure that you haven't stopped tweeting that. Ami Horowitz, it's always nice to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening.
The pleasure is mine.